Ava Vanna, and this is the Vandegrift Band.
I think it's hard to see the forest through the trees in the beginning of the season. And I think for parents, especially maybe one that didn't grow up in marching band or hasn't experienced that before, I think it's easy to look at it and say, this is bonkers and this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why are we doing this? But I think I would just say hang in there, because I really think those last performances, I think they're just life-changing. I think kids are incredibly impacted by them. I know for me, it shaped my life pretty significantly. To just hang in there. When you see the look on the kids' faces when they come off the field at the end of the year, you forget about the 102-degree weather, you forget about all the other stuff, it just all kind of clicks and makes sense.
The way we do marching band here at Vandegrift is similar to a lot of programs around the country in that we put on one show throughout the fall semester, as we spend our time doing, as opposed to doing like a different themed show every week or something like that. So we spend from mid-July to early November learning and perfecting one specific show. Our goal as a staff and as a design team is to include every student in some capacity in that performance.
That's when we find out the color palette and the music that we're gonna play, and we get to hear the first two parts of the show. Everyone's just so excited. We've been waiting since the last season ended.
Y'all ready? The 2023 Vandegrift High School Band and Vision Dance Company will be performing a show entitled Spotlight. This series production is called Spotlight, and the whole purpose of the show is we really wanted to spotlight our students as performers. A lot of marching band has become about the props, about the costumes, about cool electronic features here and there. And we did that last year, and it was obviously very cool. The show was great last year. But we were like, well, let's ramp up the music difficulty. Let's ramp up the difficulty of the dancers, and let's scale everything back. So the only effect created is through the excellence of the students.
Mr. Markworth, who writes our music, will spend quite a bit of time mapping out the show, deciding what every part of it's going to be, and writing the music for it. He writes the music for all the wind instruments and all the percussion instruments. So everything you hear is composed or arranged by him. We had those initial discussions was to see how can we best highlight the abilities and the talents of our students. We, as a staff and as a design team, certainly don't take it for granted that we think we have the best students in the country, and we wanted to really kind of strip away whatever could be a distraction to what the individual performers are doing.
I was a little nervous for this year because I heard no props, and I know that was a big thing for the band because we've always had props and it's always been such a big part of our shows. And everyone's like, oh, that's going to be a little different than we're used to, and the music was way different, and it's just a very abnormal, I guess you could say, show for the Vandegrift band.
At first, when we were getting our show introduced by Miss Van Dorn, she kind of opened with, there's only going to be one singular prop.
Our initial idea here is we're going to have one stage.
They were like, one prop? What are we gonna do? And obviously, Van Dorn does what she does best, and she kept us calm. She really trusted the process. I think she put so much trust into the program, into the students itself. It really created a vibe that was like, we don't need tangible items, or we don't need these expensive things, because we don't use them, first of all. But all we need is an emotional connection and a big sound to play with, and that's exactly what Vandegrift does in the band.
I technically am what they call it different things every year, but I'm in charge of all the props. So the front drops over there, help put all those together, in charge of the stage, getting all of the props to and from each of the games, competitions, getting them set up. Joey is technically the deputy, and he's our light guy. So he's the one that basically puts all of the light stuff together for us.
Trying to mount the new light bars that we have. These are stage washout lights. We're trying to light up the bottom as much as possible and put them in the optimum height and angle so that we can really get this lit up.
So the show being called Spotlight, what we're trying to do is mimic a spotlight, but we're doing it from beneath.
So we've made a conscious choice in the last couple of years to move in a little bit more modern direction with the music we're playing and the way it's composed and the way the show is put together. When I started here 10 years ago and really through COVID, we always did a very romantic show, classically driven, where there might be a modern take on something, but it was classical music. And that's what Vandegrift was known for. We always looked the same. We wore the black and the white, and we had a really colorful dance company. Kind of starting in 2019, we shifted, and that's the first year the performance top, so the blue ones, when we went to Grand Nationals. And we still did classical music, but we started doing more modern, a pop tune on top, to change our look a little bit while still looking like us. And the last couple of years have been slowly morphing into what we are now, which is we're trying to be one of the highest performing, most challenging musical group that we can be, while also highlighting our dance company.
The goal for that May Camp event is to get everyone excited for the following year, and the biggest group of students who are trying to get excited for next year is the incoming freshman class.
Say no stress. Freshmen, that's the name of the game this week. You're not to be stressed out.
It's just after school, so a couple hours each day. We'll all either convene in our own sections or at the very end of the week as a full band.
And I think these students kind of get a head start on that, because band is hectic and it's a lot, and Vandegrift is a very academically rigorous school. So I think the skills they learn by doing that, I think, are huge.
When we were going into May Camp, we would get a base understanding of what the music was going to sound like, our assignments for the parts, and just getting a basic understanding of how the show is supposed to sound. My favorite part of May Camp was being with all my friends, being able to learn a new show with them. That's always really fun because you don't know what the music's going to sound like, and it's really interesting hearing all of the parts come together into one part of the show.
Relax. It's pretty awesome.
When you get to the harder parts of the music, it can be hard to not compare yourself to other people sometimes. So it might be harder for you to learn the music, or just have a mental impact on how you think you're gonna do. It's always usually really, really fun. I love it so much.
At the beginning of May Camp, I was like, maybe this music is a little bit too hard. Which I think is fair to say. It was very, very challenging music. I was like, okay, we might have to change some of these parts. I don't know if we can pull this off.
Leadership Camp is an opportunity for all of the band's leaders and Vision's leaders to come together and learn basic leadership skills and how to connect with other people. It's the reason all of our shows are so great, because we all share the work ethic and dedication on that field every day.
During those moments, we sort of build our section culture. We make all the posters that you can see in the band hall, and we get really close as a family there.
The Vision Camp is where all grades and Vision get together just a week before summer band, so we can all get together and play games and just create a tighter bond with each other. And I think this really helps because when we go out into the field in summer band, we're all a really already close, tight-knit community. So it helps us in technique, it helps us improve our traveling skills, our control, and just our mindset going in and on the field.
It's the first time the whole group is really together and they get to know each other, get to create bonds and relationships before having to integrate themselves with the full band. So it's really just a nice chance to isolate some things, get a head start on technique, choreography, and just kind of get together as a group before we get together with everyone.
At this point, you've been playing your instrument for 3 years and you're really good at sitting down and playing your instrument, and now we're just going to ruin everything and tell you to stand up and move around while you do it.
Band camp is like the boot camp for marching band. It's the most important factor to the season, I feel like, because that is when we learn the fundamentals of marching. For the freshmen, it's learning it for the first time.
That's when everyone's finally together for the first time since May camp. And I would wake up around 5:30 every day. I'd get breakfast. It's super important that you eat every single day before you get there. You have to have a full tank to be ready to go for the next 4 hours outside. I'd get here around 6 or 6:30 every day, and then we'd all start at 7 a.m. in the morning.
We move fast. We believe here that anything that is good will start fast, and it will start with everyone participating. We do not expect you to be perfect in any way. The only thing you have to do for summer band, and especially these next couple of days when we're still being acclimated, is go out there and do your best. Do your what? Best! Do your best, and then the big one is treat each other well. Treat each other what? Well! That's it. When you do those two things, this band is going to be great.
We do these summer workouts every year to start summer band, really kick things off. They are optional for students, but we usually have a very high percentage of participation. They only last from 7 to 8 in the morning.
2 rules for a jog. Number 1, nobody does this by themselves. Number 2, you have to keep moving at all times. There's no stopping and standing. If you do not jogging, you are still walking. Got it? Yes, sir. That's rule number 1. No one alone. No one alone. Let's go. Here we go.
These workouts are so important as we prepare for this school year and the summer band. As everyone knows, it's very hot, and us getting students out here a little more acclimated to when we're actually going to be out here in the mornings and getting their bodies moving helps us really start at a fast pace next week so we can get everything rolling and everything off to a great start.
You know, honestly, it's kind of difficult sometimes because in those mornings, it honestly feels pretty cold when you first start, and it super quickly just heats up to like 90 or 100 degrees in the afternoon. And just in terms of hydration with that, it's super important, not just hydrating while you're outside, but hydrating the night before and the day before, because you know, when you're out here and you're already sweating, it's super hard to kind of keep up and play catch up with your hydration.
The Band-Aid is basically, obviously this is the ground I'm on, solid concrete, and it gets really hot. So the Band-Aid are there to sort of help with any minor injuries. They're not there so that you can like sit and wait out the heat. But basically anytime someone falls over or someone gets pushed, or even worse, someone hasn't been regulating their food or water and they pass out, the Band-Aid is there. The Band-Aid's job is to basically support so that we get kids in and out like as fast as possible. So you sit there for a couple minutes, they slap a Band-Aid on you, and then you're back out.
The most important thing is we're helping out the directors so that the band can be at its best. If a kid feels a little sick for a moment, then he can just stay here for a few minutes. We'll help them out as much as we can and just jump back.
It's been very, very hot this year, and those are the days where they've really dug deep and pushed each other. You know, we can motivate as much as we want, but we're not doing it with them. And so when they have people on the field saying, hey, you got this, get some more, let's run it back, it helps those students who might feel like I'm having a hard day or I really don't feel connected, have a connection point in this crazy school or in this program that is so difficult sometimes to be a part of.
Day 1, summer band, we're near the end of July, and we spend a couple days teaching them, this is how you move your body. This is how you we teach them how to take their first step, and then we teach them how to here's how you take step number 2, and then we, get through step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and finally we've taken 8 steps in a row, and it's, it really is, we teach them everything. We start to learn what's called drill, which is basically the dots that form the little pictures on the field.
So as a drill instructor, obviously logistically, your job is to teach people how to march and make sure everyone knows their music and everything, but as a leader, it's just really important to make connections, especially with younger students, and make sure everyone feels like they have a home.
And what I do is normally the band director, she'll say, leaders fall out or something, and I'll go help if a form looks wrong or if someone's in the wrong spot or if someone's struggling to find their spot. But mainly my main focus is during summer band when we're trying to teach everything, like the fundamentals and everything as a group.
We do point exercise and 50-50 plus sign drill. So I'm sort of in front of everyone and just speaking to them and letting them know what to do.
And we'll be inside in the afternoons.
drum camp, which starts about a week earlier than the full band, and just working on like different techniques to make the technique more uniform.
We had a great first day of summer band. Attendance was great. Everybody showed up, which is like half the battle, I feel like. And did a great job this morning. We were really fortunate. We had some cooler temperatures for the first couple hours of the day. And then we were able to finish out the morning really strong despite it getting a little warm. And then had a great afternoon learning a lot of music and working on some show stuff and just kind of getting back in the swing of things.
I think for any music educator is that you develop a lifelong love of music. You know, whether that's you continue to play, whether it's you just have an appreciation for it, or if you have kids down the road that your kids are doing band, like developing lifelong music lovers.
As a wind player, you can relax and like let the music sort of take over you, which is one of my favorite parts about marching band, is when the music finally like resonates with you and you start to kind of connect with the show that you're marching with.
One of the more overwhelming moments emotionally for me was the first time that we kind of ran through the show, because I start in the back, and so the sound isn't directed towards me. Like there's parts that are loud and soft. Then for the last part of the show, I go around the field and I come up to the front, and when we have those impact moments, those like fortissimo, like triple F, the whole band's playing. I mean, on the field, you know it's loud, but you're hearing you, the people behind you, not really the whole ensemble sound. On the podium, you can hear the ensemble sound. And so it's really awesome to be able to experience that live, and like the power behind the music and every individual contributing, because that's something that I think is very unique about our program, but not something that being on the field you ever really get to experience.
After school, we go Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday as well. So it's we have an 8-hour rule, so the maximum time we get practice any given week is 8 hours. An hour and a half during class, and then about 8 hours of after school practice. But just having the patience to know that like, I don't want to do it today, but if I show up, it's gonna pay off down the road.
The first part of rehearsal is usually a review of what we've done the previous day. So I can then get down on the field level and on a one-on-one level, maybe correct technique or look at a picture and be like, hey, you're out of place. Let's fix that, you're a step behind. And then later in the rehearsal, when we're learning new stuff, putting together big picture chunks, I get to get up on the podium and conduct.
Conducting the band is totally different than playing in the band itself. You're very isolated from the band, emotionally, physically, and mentally as well. From being a soloist and having that perspective of being able to play in the band again, it was like rekindling that fire within me that I got from freshman year through junior year, and I was really happy to be able to experience that musical aspect of that as well.
Moving into when school started, it was kind of a lot. Senior year, all the classes I'm taking and the rehearsal schedule. I mean, I feel like everyone felt it, but I think that we had done such a good job building the culture during summer band that everyone was able to handle that much better than I think years past.
Usually why a student would come in tired or unmotivated is because of all of the things that are happening outside of marching band, and we ask a lot of their time. And we recognize that, you know, all students, and us too, we have lots of things going on in our lives besides just marching band, and it at times can feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much. There's so much demand on us and our students in this current society, and we want band obviously to be a place where we work hard. We also want it to be somewhere where students can come and kind of forget about everything else.
You know, I am a music teacher, and I always want the students to develop a love of music and a long-term love of music, but more importantly, as a teacher of an elective or of an activity like this, I want them to gain life skills, and that comes with, you know, commitment, that's drive and dedication, that's timelines and being on time to things and turning their stuff in, maintaining multiple schedules. And you know, they have a lot of responsibilities between school and band, and as you know, band is a pretty big commitment, so having to balance all those things, it's training them for the future and how to be a fantastic manager within their life.
So from my perspective, especially this year, I just remember at the beginning of the year, as head drum major, being able to see everybody on the field specifically and seeing small interactions happen with everybody. It was like an epidemic of positivity and optimism. I think that's what made our band so strong emotionally this year.
Overall, it's just a feeling of I'm really proud of this group, because because you get here in summer band, there's the freshmen that have never marched before, and then all of a sudden we've put part 4 onto the show. I'm standing on the podium, and it's incredible, and there's crescendos, and all of the musical stuff is happening, and then I get to look down on the field and be like, they did that. Like, I'm so proud of them.
It also helps develop their social skills. The band family is diverse, and they are around a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different likes and dislikes, and they do have to learn to operate within this family that is so diverse, which I think is a wonderful thing.
There's a lot that I hope people know, and there's just so much that this program is, and it's different for every person. But all of my friends are here. All of my best connections with people have happened here. So even though the marching band season is kind of brutal at times, you come out of it with a group of people, a mindset, skills that you won't really get anywhere else.
I did realize last year I have a lot of horse quotes on 4 minutes from Kentucky. The hay is in the barn was a popular one last year, which I don't think anyone understood. Just means like the work is done. That's kind of an end of the season thing. Like if you do all the work and you do all those days you don't want to do it, you show up anyway, that hopefully that last 3 to 4 days of rehearsal, like the work has been done, now just enjoying the product.
We have football game days and we obviously go to rehearsal before the game. And I think those rehearsals are really fun for people because we're not really working for as long, they're shorter rehearsals. And then we get to run through at the end on the field. It's just a different energy on the field because you're sort of performing where you would during a competition or during the games where there's a huge audience.
Early last night, and it's fine because that person is trying to do the right thing. If you don't play it, you're letting everyone left and right of you down. Even if you're wrong, that's way better than not playing.
We'll play the school song, and then we'll wait for the national anthem. The football team runs out, we play the fight song, and then we move into the stands.
I just love all the stand tunes, to be honest.
I know most of our students get up in the stands for a football game and they're excited to be around their friends and the environment's lively and loud and exciting. So we buy into that. We help create that.
On RAC, it's like a RAC tradition called hyping. Mainly, it's to keep the energy up and to have fun with your part, to look cool, makes you stand out as like, oh hey, these people have energy and the energy is good.
I think everyone just gets super excited to support our football team because sometimes the student section isn't very big or like it's an away football game so no one really comes, but I know they appreciate the band always showing up.
I mean, that's the band's job at those events is to create spirit and energy and excitement, all that kind of stuff. When we get out of the stands, we go into our warm-up before the show. The goal is to leave that energy in the stands to get kind of a different energy and different focus going on for our performance. It's halftime or before the game, and then once we're done with that, to go back up in the stands and find the same football kind of energy we had when we left.
Internally driven by the students, but they really do it for each other. They want to perform well, they want to work hard for each other.
And then we finally get to be there. We're in our full uniform and there's a huge audience and everyone's just so excited and so ready, because when you perform after rehearsal during our run-throughs, it's okay, like everyone's like pumped up. But it's just so different when you have the energy from the audience reciprocating back to you.
And now taking the field, the Vandegrift High School Viper Marching Band and Vision Dance Company. The Viper Band and Vision Dance Company are the reigning 2022 UIL 6A State Marching Band Champion. For your halftime enjoyment, the Viper Band and Vision Dance Company will be performing 3 movements from their 2023 production entitled Spotlight, featuring music from 715 Creeks by Bon Iver, Breathless Hallelujah by Philip Wilby, Run to the Light by Ivan Trevino, and original music by Andrew Markworth. Leading the band are drum majors Kate Marshburn, Matthew Plummer, Candace Saidi, and Ethan Sarwar. The percussion captain is Sarah Bustami. The Vision Dance Company captain is Dante Dar. Ladies and gentlemen, defining the standards for marching bands everywhere, the Leander Independent School District is proud to present the Vandegrift High School Viper Marching Band and Vision Dance Company.
To know that there has to be a price to pay and a little bit of work ethic. Pick up your lunch pail and go to work every day. We all know and have done it long enough to know that if we just show up every day, we bring the correct energy and the correct mindset, that those performances that we have in late October or early November are going to be there and going to be fantastic.
We do 2 different types of competitions or contests. So BOA is its own independent thing, plus TMC that runs the same way as a BOA contest. And then we also do UIL. What that is a show evaluated by judges. Their goal is to give us a rating at the end of our show. So we can either receive a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. And our goal is to get a 1 because that means we get to move on to finals. Not so that they achieve a certain competitive placement, just so that they get as many performance opportunities as possible. If you make it into finals, you get to do another show for usually a bigger audience.
I would say most of our students are extremely competitive. I know that the staff is competitive. Marching band is a competition. So to say winning doesn't matter is, I would say, false at times, because it does matter to a lot of people. I don't think it's our driving force. And we definitely don't talk about, if we don't win, then this is what we did wrong, or this is what the judges think you're bad at, or here are the score different. It just doesn't matter, because we know as long as we have things to improve upon, then we have things to improve upon. And the best thing for us, I think, is first time this year it happened at TMC finals, is the students came off the field and they felt great about the performance. And that's a really big shift in a season, because until that point, it's like, well, this wasn't together. Oh, we didn't bring our flags up together. Oh, this didn't sound very good. Oh, these forms weren't very good. And the students know that because they see it on the field. And so they kind of internalize that through the performance and have a hard time connecting with the performance. At that first performance where the students really feel like everything kind of clicks and they hit their drill sets and they make the great sounds and they really get the audience to stand up and clap for them, and they come off the field with that feeling of excitement and accomplishment, and it's everybody. When that happens, like, okay, this is going to be great. And that's what we really try to talk to students about, that that's what we're going for. And what happens after that feeling, it is what it is. We don't have any control over the people who are putting numbers down, but we do have control over how we perform and how we impact those who watch us.
It's really intimidating. Looking at past years and seeing the shows, and especially when seniors graduate, like, oh, we'll never achieve that again, because there's such a high bar, it feels like. But then once you're in the program, that kind of fades away, and you really get to enjoy every part of it, not worrying about results or the legacy, because the legacy that you end up leaving is the hard work that comes along with just being really passionate about what you do.
The band kids' parents play a vital role in the process and the functioning of our band program. So we have parents who are called the pit crew. They work with like literally night and day. Like 3 a.m., they're the ones who are unloading the truck and they have the lights saying, don't go through this way, etc. But they like bust their butts off by literally just packing everything, making sure everything is safe and sound. And for the drum majors specifically, they were our literally knight in shining armor because they made sure everything was loaded after we gave it to them. So without them, we literally wouldn't have been a functioning program.
I'm really excited about today. We had a really good rehearsal. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super hyped.
I don't think of it as a competitive aspect, but that we get to show everybody how hard we've been working and how far production has come.
Nervous for the competition, but I'm also excited. This is my first year marching. I'm super excited about today. Competitions are my absolute favorite day.
This is where all the hard work that we've been putting in for the past 2 months finally pays off.
If you're ever at a competition and you see before they go to warm up, all of the sections are kind of huddled up in circles and they do silly things together, they sing, they give each other speeches, give each other pep talks. It's a really cool representation of the relationships that they've made with each other while in band.
In warm up, I said I want you to perform. Have intent, have purpose. Warm up was about your mental purpose. You add the heart. All the stuff you know how to do, you do it. When you get to that spot in the show, the one you don't like, I'm right there with you. With encouraging words that are going to help you finish the end. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And perform, guys. You have earned it. It has been a long time since you've gotten to go put these super suits on and perform. Don't take it for granted. There are people who've been waiting here all day for you. Let them see what it's all about. Set it up, let's go.
And the performance we had, everybody was so happy with it just because there's so much adrenaline, like coming off the bus and straight into performance.
One might think that we might become off the rails, but it was something weird. It was like a fire went off, figuratively speaking, and all of us were just so fired up internally.
They're put in the spotlight so often that they have to be on, they have to be in. We do talk about too, you can't march this show and perform the show without energy. When it's about them as performers, they really have to go in kind of amped up and excited, and they do all these pre-show rituals where they like fist bump each other, they hug each other, they kind of get each other excited because it takes a lot of energy to perform the show that we've given them. And I would say it's probably the most challenging show visually and musically that we've ever given the band. But it does spotlight every single section. At the end, every single person, everyone's story, every performer, they all matter to create this production that is so incredible. And without every single individual, it wouldn't be the same.
And it does get emotional just because we've spent and dedicated so many hours to working on this one thing, and now the final chance to do that one thing is here, and after that we won't get to do that show ever again with those people standing next to us ever again.
Championships resume right now with the Vandegrift High School Marching Band and Vision Dance Company.
Joey, 45-yard line is it?
There has been programs entitled Spotlight, and includes music by Ava Vanna, and Andrew Markworth. The UIL is proud to present in state finals competition from Major State Marshburn, Matthew Plummer, Saeed, and Eden Sarwar, and the Vandegrift High School Viper Band and Vision Dance Company.
That last competition, I could say from a drum major perspective, that was the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life.
Which is like always the goal, and I always get super emotional towards the end of the season. I think everyone in the percussion section knows that. I was crying during section time. I was telling them I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle being a drum captain, just the added pressure of that. And I was so thankful that I had such a good section to work with that it made that experience less daunting, I feel like.
At the end of these final competitions, those are probably the most emotional part of the season because everyone comes off the field. A lot of people are bawling their eyes out because they just finished the biggest competition. They got to perform it with some of the best people you'll ever meet, your best friends. And just knowing that was it, that was the final time of performing, and just the feeling of pride after you march just feels really amazing.
Very proud of you, the whole staff. Couldn't be more proud of you.
The next time you watch a marching show, take a moment to sort of embrace the music around you because there are so many people who are putting their hearts and soul into what they're playing. And I feel like sometimes it just kind of gets blown over people's heads. So the next time you ever get the chance to hear a live band, I would say just kind of let the music do the talking as opposed to the way that the kids are moving, because I feel like the music is such a huge part of what people miss. People are so focused on the props and the fancy stuff that it's not as appreciated as much.
I was very proud of what everyone had put on the field, and so I think I was feeling the expected emotions, the anxiety, as you know, because they start from like whatever 14 or 12, however many finalists they have, and they work their way up. And I always have a goal for us in mind, and so that year I was like, I want us to get on the podium, I want us to medal. And so once we get to the top 5, I mean, that's when I really start getting like, okay, we're getting there, like we've made it this far. And then they list off 5 and 4, and then I kind of take a deep breath and I'm like, awesome, like they got on the podium, they got the medal. Like I'm like, I see this show that they put on every day, and of course I'm a part of it in a way, but really the stuff's happening on the field is the most important part. So I'm like, okay, they got a medal, that's good. And then they get to second place, and that's the part that's just like, you know, like you're like fingers crossed.
Marching band champion from Leander ISD, the Vandegrift.
I just remember feeling very proud at UIL. And then we get to BOA, and it's a lot of the same stuff. I mean, we didn't get on the podium last year, and so I really wanted that for us. And we got to that point, and then they announced second place, and I'm like, oh my God, we won. And then they get to us, and they go, record-breaking score. My jaw drops. I'm like scanning the front sideline for Van Doren to be like, is this for real?
When we give you the break race, it's your opportunity to celebrate on this field with your band and all the bands around you. Congratulations now, break race!
Our band has never won UIL State and BOA in the same year before. This is actually the first time we've won BOA and our second time winning UIL State for 6A.
I remember freshman year, I was thinking of our show Spanish Fantasy. I remember looking up at the head drum major, and I was thinking, I want to be in his position at one point in time. And it was like a full circle moment in my senior year, just looking over and seeing all the tears across the whole field and feeling my tears across my face, and then just realizing like all the work is finally at accumulation.
Going into Ford Retreat and they say that we broke a record and we won, that was just literally unmatched. It was just a wonderful way to kind of wrap up the 4 years of craziness.
Those competitions, they're an opportunity for the students to play for very large audiences, and there's not another activity, especially in high school, where students will go and perform in the Alamo Dome for thousands and thousands of people. And to be able to provide that experience for students who've worked as hard as they do, it's really special. And when they come off the field after finals or prelims in those big stadiums and they have all those people cheering for them, it's what makes it all worth it, because they come off in tears of excitement and tears of joy. The seniors they realize at that moment that they're done and they were able to perform their last show for a huge audience. And that's all we ever want, is for the students to get to have all of the shows. So to make finals at events is a big deal. We didn't used to do that. We used to go to prelims and we're like, well, I hope we make finals, and then oh, we didn't, you gotta go home. It's not about winning, it's about getting those performances to share their art, their craft with thousands of people. And that's what I would say the driving force is.
And I like to talk to you about the students who are graduated, and when they've gone on to college and graduated college and they have families of their own, and they go back and they watch that video of their performances in marching band, that they feel really proud of what they did, and they remember those times fondly, and the memories they have and the friends they made and just the times they got to share with the band, and not that was cool because we won, that was good because we beat these people. That's not the goal. The goal is we meet our standard, we have a certain level of excellence in our performances, and we're really proud of what we did, and we make awesome memories with our friends along the way.
This is extra. True, false? True! Wonderful. You absolutely earned it. I would say you deserve it. I think you're awesome. I give it to you every day. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations. I'd love to tell you our season's done, but we get to keep going. As our trumpet section said, the hay is not in the barn, but the horses are fed. More important, we ate.
I'm so proud of y'all. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Yes. Incredible. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Very proud of you. Yeah. What he said, you guys are amazing. Hey, I'm so lucky to get to work here, to get to come and hang out with you guys every day. I love you guys. We love you! The hay is in the ball! Going!
Again, we're so proud of you. Please, opportunity to take a picture of you guys with the trophy. This is the middle. Go.
Why do you love the Vandegrift Marching Band?
How do I explain that?
I love
the Vandegrift.
The Vandegrift band.
Vandegrift band.
The Vandegrift band.
Because
It's a family.
It's a family.
I'm a part of another family.
Students that make it up.
the people, culture that it provides.
You just make a lot of good memories there.
The everlasting memories.
Positive memories that are going to last them a lifetime.